in front of you, you should have your picture of the person that you are going to draw. And you've got these lines, and these are going to help us get everything into the right place, because you can see that your sheet underneath has lines as well, but it's just where I've folded it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to sketch out the portraits. Now, with a face, you might be surprised to know that the eyes are usually around the middle of the head. I can tell that in my picture, this person has his head tilted back slightly, because they should be right in the middle of the head, between the very top and the very bottom, but they're not quite on my picture. You have a look on your picture and use your fingers, so put them from the chin to the eye, and then keep them the same distance, and then move them up and see, does it come above as mine does, or are they the same distance? The other thing you ought to notice about your head is that heads are generally egg-shaped. Now this person isn't looking straight on at me, he's looking slightly to one side, but his head is still shaped like an egg. Have a look at yours and see if you can find with your finger that egg shape, because that's going to be important when we come to draw. And what I want you to do is run your finger round, because what you're doing is you're getting in your head that feel. So when you have your charcoal in your hand, you're going to draw, or your chalk, that feel of where the head will be. Now the other thing that I've noticed, and this is something you might want to get your piece of chalk and just look at, is where the sides of his head come on. Not the glasses, just the side of his head I want. So I've drawn 2 lines down, and I can see that for this picture it's about in the middle of these marks that I've drawn on the picture for splitting it up into 8 parts, which means that when I come to draw my egg, this is the clever bit. So when I come to draw my head, I know that the width is going to have to be about there to there, and that the top of the head is going to need to be about here, and the bottom of the head is going to want to be about here. So I've made a mark, just a light mark with my chalk in those places. Let me move my sheet up a little so that you can see. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the egg shape. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to bring his head down. That's the dome of his head, and he doesn't have a lot of hair on his head. I think it's all in his moustache. And then I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to bring that down to there, and I've drawn an egg shape. Let's move it up slightly so you can see there's my egg shape. And with the egg shape, the wider bit of the egg is at the top, and the narrower bit is at the bottom. Now, do you remember me saying that his eyes were almost in the middle, but slightly a little bit higher? So I'm going to find the middle part of my shape, which I think is about here, and I'm going to do his eyes just above there. And when I look at my picture, this is another tip, I'm going to turn it round, and I'm going to draw a line down where his eyes are. I'm going to look there and draw that line on my picture with my white chalk. And I'm using my white chalk because it's easier to see than the black chalk. So I have a small bit there and a wider bit there, which tells me that this line is not a straight line. We call it a diagonal line because it's tilted. So I'm going to draw that line, and then I'll know where my eyes need to go. So when I look at my picture, I can see it's about 1/3 of the way up there and a little less there. So here's my picture there. I'm just going to turn it over for now so that you can see. And I know that his eyes are going to come on a diagonal line that's going to look a bit like that. The next thing I'm going to do is think about where his nose is. Now, if you've got a face that's facing you straight on, the nose will be in the middle pretty much. But my nose isn't in the middle, it's all the way over here. So I'm going to draw a line down to find the tip of the nose, which is about there. Oh, and look at that. His nose lines up with his lips. That's handy. That's really useful. And his nose, look where it sits. It's just on my line there. So you're going to have a look to see where your nose is when you come to draw. And I'm just going to think about his nose is going to come, oh, it's a long way over. It's all the way over to about here. That's my nose line that I've just drawn in. And I'm drawing very lightly with the chalk. I don't want to put lots of chalk on. And it's going to come on the line, isn't it? So his nose, I can begin to put his nose in. It's going to come about there, like that. There's his nose. Oh, it's beginning to come together. And then his lips, they're going to come about here. We've got these wonderful glasses, but I'm going to do the glasses now. I want to do his eyes first. So that's where the top of his eye socket will come. And that's his one eye there. And then his other eye, look, it's all the way over here. Can you see? It's right where that line is. So look, there's the pupil of his eye. And this bit's going to come, if I just draw 2 marks, we're still in shot? Yes, we're still in shot, good. So it's going to come from about there to about there. And then I can draw the rest of his eye in. And we can adjust this if it's not quite right as we go along. And the good thing is if you do make an error, you can just rub it out. That easy. And then we've got these amazing glasses to put in. So it's going to come here and round and down. It's that shape, isn't it? Round and down. And then we've got this bit over his nose and another bit there holding them together. And the next one is going to come here and it's going to come round. Oh, down a little bit further, I think. And down. It's that shape. These incredible pink glasses. I do like those. And yeah, we're looking okay. So this massive moustache is going to come out and up to his ear. There. And here, it's going to come from under his glasses and it's going to come up here. And I think for this, I'm going to need to open out my full picture, aren't I? All right. So let's have a look. It's going to come all the way to there. So that means that it's going to come to about here, that incredible moustache on that side. And then on this side, it's going to come to about here. Right, let's see all the way from there to there. And there's my man with his moustache. Let's see if I can get that in. I'm going to draw this side first. It's going to come around, it's going to come all the way up to here, that moustache. And then it's going to come all the way around to here. And then it's going to come down here. And it's going to come all the way around, out of shot again. All the way around to here. And that's going to come around to here. And come in there. That's his other bit of the moustache. Okay. Take that away. How are we doing? Oh, look, he is coming into view, my mustachioed man. So, now that we've got to that stage, you need, if you haven't finished before I start going into shading in, you're going to need to finish your drawing first and then come back to me to see how we actually shade him in.